Hello, Colas, and welcome back to Viva Barca. Welcome to the home of everything Barcelona, where we are going to be discussing on two things. We start with Xavi's pre-match press conference, where he talks Lewandowski, World Cup, winter transfers, Pablo Torre ahead of Viktoria, Pleasant vs Barcelona. We are going to be discussing on everything the coach had to say as we progress. Then to conclude the episode, talking about Hector Bellerin, who also talks injury issues, dressing room, criticism at him ahead of the game against Victoria Pleasant. We are also going to be looking at that. So guys, before we get right into it, please do ensure to subscribe if you haven't. Turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. Barcelona traveled to the Mestalla this past weekend, looking to continue their winning run in La Liga after a set of failed attempts in the Champions League. After a rather troublesome game, they were able to walk out with all 3 points courtesy of Robert Lewandowski's 92nd minute winner, while the win in itself only took them up off La Liga temporarily. It has massively helped close down the gap to just 1 point after Real Madrid's 1-1 draw against Girona. Barcelona will now shift their attention to the Champions League, where they make the trip to the Czech Republic to lock horns against Victoria Pleasant. Xavi addressed the media as part of his pre-game presser ahead of the game. Talking about the game, the manager said, "The match against Victoria, it's an important game for us. We want to end this competition with a good performance and continue our good form in the league. The match against Victoria Pleasant is also an important duel for players who play few minutes and for the young stars. Every game is an opportunity," Xavi said. Why is the match against Victoria important? For prestige and professionalism. Tomorrow we have to win and finish this competition so well. It's very important to have a good feeling going into the last 2 league games before the World Cup. Then talking about the World Cup, the manager said, "The influence of the World Cup on the team dynamics, there is always a risk of injury, even in training. The players don't have to think about this. When you compete well, you are at your best. The key is to take care of yourself." On the club's decline, the manager said, "I have lived through the worst period of this club's history, from the 2000s to 2003, and the best period in the club's history from the time Rijkaard arrived until I retired. We have to insist. Now is not the time to doubt on this team." On Champions League exit, the manager said, "We are in a situation we didn't expect, eliminated from the Champions League, but we have to believe in the idea and in the team. I'm very positive. I still think we are on the right track. We will win titles in 2023, Xavi insisted. "We have not been able to compete in a very difficult Champions League group, but this year we have taken a step forward. In Munich, we played very well. Being knocked out of the Champions League, we have lost it. We had the chance in our hands, but it slipped away because of our own mistake. Adverse situations and refereeing decisions as well counted. The Champions League was in our hands on 2 occasions. In Munich, when we played well, we couldn't win, and against Inter at the Camp Nou, when we had everything under control. But in the end, we drew. That was in our hands." On their form, the manager said, "We are calm, but I think the fans are going through a roller coaster of feelings. After the draw against Rayo Vallecano, everything was going badly, and after a 4-1 victory against Real Sociedad, everything seemed perfect. Every game is a story, a war. We have to get into a very positive dynamic. We are doing well in La Liga. We have beaten Villarreal, Athletic, and Valencia. We are playing good football and being protagonists. We have a very clear identity of who we are, and we can't lose it." On the team's motivation, Xavi said, "The players at this club always have to be motivated, and motivated even in friendlies. We are privileged to be here, and we have to enjoy it." On Robert Lewandowski, Xavi said, "Lewandowski has a minor discomfort. He was on the squad list for the match against Victoria, but in the end, we preferred him to rest. He'll be fine for Saturday's game." On the team tomorrow, he said, Inaki Pena and Pablo Torre will play tomorrow against Victoria. We will give minutes to players who haven't played so much so far. On winter transfers, he said, signings for the winter transfer window. It's too early to think about the winter transfer window. We have 3 games left until the World Cup break. After playing them, we'll have a month and a half to make plans for the squad. We are not ruling out anything. Then, talking about the team's weaknesses, he said, being knocked out of the Champions League is not a problem of attitude. We are playing with our heart on the pitch. It's a question of knowing how to compete better, of maturity, a question of facing the competition with more faith. It is a whole process, Xavi said. Last year, we didn't have the level required to compete in the Champions League. This year, we had the level, and it was in our hands. But we made mistakes. We have had the misfortune of failing or of falling into a very strong group and not being able to take up the task well. That's the reality. On Lewandowski's words, he said, Lewa is absolutely right. Knowing how to compete at the right time and dominate when you are ahead is important. But this has nothing to do with the style or the idea that we have. He means knowing how to compete at certain moments. We have lacked maturity and strength as a team. On the squad dynamics, he said, we have a lot of young players. This squad has only been all together for 16 or 17 games. We have suffered controversial refereeing. These are not excuses, but all of this has affected us too. I'm motivated despite being eliminated from Champions League. As a player, I wanted to play every game. I saw them as opportunities. We are eliminated, but Pedri, Gavi, and the rest want to play. They are professionals despite their youth. We will win titles in 2023, I insist. Then on to the next story of discussion. Barcelona's humiliating exit from the Champions League was only made worse as they squared off against Bayern Munich at the Camp Nou in a humiliating 3-0 loss. At the heart of it, there was barely any player who played well, but fans could not help but spot how off the mark Hector Bellerin looked through the 90 minutes of that game. In his defense, the Spaniard was up against Alphonso Davies and Sadio Mane on the same flank, but his lack of awareness and more so pace put him under a lot of scrutiny. And while they have already been relegated to the Europa League, Barca still have to face Victoria Pleasant, for the final round of the group stages. Bellerin got the chance to face the media ahead of the game, speaking about the criticism he has received and much more. Talking about the game, he said, the match against Victoria is an important game for us. It's important to continue the good dynamic in La Liga. We are Barca and we have to win. We are a team with a lot of quality and we have to go out motivated and win. We have to go for everything regardless of the situation we find ourselves in. On his fitness, he said, I'm feeling now good. I'm fully fit. I missed the preseason and I needed a period of adaptation, but I'm very happy with the minutes I've had so far. On Barcelona's goals, he said, Barca's objective must always be to win titles. On his participation versus Victoria, he said, playing against Victoria, I don't know if I'll play yet, but if I do, I'll try to enjoy it as much as possible. I want to play every game like any player. On the dressing room, he said, this team has potential and I'm enjoying every moment here. The atmosphere in the dressing room is very good. On Champions League exit, he said, being knocked out of the Champions League, we are disappointed. We feel that in many situations we deserved more. As a team, we are aware of the quality we have and we are showing it in the league. In football, you can't just look at that pass. In football, not everything is black and white. Every game is different and things can go better or worse. I think the team is doing well defensively. We don't just have to look at ourselves. We are playing very good against very good opponents. On his contract, he said, my contract expiring in 2023. In my life, I have found that you never know what is going to happen until the last minute. The important thing is to enjoy yourself and keep your mind clear. When the time comes, you will see. Right now, I want to enjoy the experience. On the criticism towards him, Hector Bellerin said, I am a person who doesn't listen to other people's opinions. For me, the only important opinion is Xavi's own opinion. Against Bayern, I hadn't played for a month and I'm a professional and I always have to be at a good level, he said. So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.